Malware analysis has a long learning curve. That's the lie that I always hear every now and then. The truth is, malware analysis has lots of things to learn in it. You can spend years and years and you will never cover it all. There is lots of assembly languages from x86, x64, ARM, MIPS, and so many other assembly languages. You have interpreted languages, you have Java, you have .NET, you have compiled Python, you have compiled Visual Basic 6, you have even scripting languages. You have PHP, you have Perl, you have PowerShell, you have JavaScript, you have VBA for macros. And not only all of this, you have all the techniques that are used inside all of them, from obfuscation, from encryption, from anti-analysis tricks, and also different types of behavior. Including beside all of that, there are the exploits, there's shell code and how they are generated, there's kernel mode and user mode. There's so many things to learn. And it is normal to feel very overwhelmed and to feel that the science is huge. But when you are starting malware analysis, you need first to know what's your goal. If your goal is to be able to work in malware analysis, so you need to have only few things to learn to be able to get your first job in malware analysis. Look, we are learning every single day as a malware analyst. And when you work in a company, you don't have to know everything. You don't have to know how to decompile a Python compiled application like what you see in most of CTFs. What you have to learn is you have to have your foundation right. You have to know how to do basic code analysis. You know how to read code in assembly language. You know the malware analysis process, and you are able to make sense out of the behavior that you analyze through reverse engineering. Either through code analysis or even just reading the strings. You need to understand what this registry key means from business perspective, what it means from a malware analysis point of view. If you see this registry key, you know that this means it tries to maintain persistence through this technique, or it tries to propagate through that. It tries to affect this company assets, tries to get into the database or through the Active Directory or whatever it affects. And you're able, from your analysis, from your reverse engineering techniques and from your malware analysis background, to answer specific business questions, how it affects the company assets, how it affects its confidentiality, its integrity, its availability, whatever the type of assets they are trying to protect, and how it is breeds and how it gives more control to the attacker. Does it have more samples that it downloads? What are the lateral moves and what are the attacker's motivations? These are the questions that you need to answer. And actually, to learn malware analysis, you need to learn very few specific things to be able to strike your first job in malware analysis. You need to understand assembly, the x86 assembly, x64, and to know how to analyze a malware to reach this point when you are answering these basic questions. And let me tell you this straightforward. You don't need programming. You don't need to learn how to write code. Maybe writing some scripts, some small scripts, but programming is a huge science. Programming includes designing, UML designing, classes and object-oriented programming, and how to solve a problem and dissect this problem into logical steps that the computer can understand. Not only designing the application, but also writing the application, testing, deployment, and so on, and memory management, and lots of things. You don't need to learn all of that, and spending time in this is a waste of time. You need to understand how to read code. You need to understand how to maybe just automate some small tasks in a small script, either in Python or whatever the language you like to use. You don't need to dive so deep into programming, and this is a wrong concept. So, to learn malware analysis, really, you need to be very laser focused, and you need to know what are the resources. You need to really choose and select the resources that you're learning from. There are so many YouTube videos of analysis of so many different techniques and protectors, and unpacking complicated protectors and bypassing lots of anti-analysis tricks and analyzing complicated or strange language malware compiled in strange languages like Go language or whatever. And the truth is that these things could be really useful after you are working for 1-2 years in a company already, and you have made a sample or multiple samples that are using these techniques. Then that's the time to start learning them and start exploring some other stuff, or in your free time if you are curious about how this language works. I got recently curious about Go language and how an application could be wrote in Go language. I started exploring this language. However, that's not part of that's not one of your goals when you are learning malware analysis for the first time. Malware analysis, you can really learn malware analysis and get to the interview ready level in just around 6 months, or even like more or less 6 months. That's including learning the theories, including practicing and analyzing different samples. And again, you don't need lots of prerequisites to be able to get into malware analysis. You don't need to spend 3 years in SOC or an IT admin or learn network security and dive deep into that. You don't need to have CCNA or CH. You may need to learn the foundations of cybersecurity, which will get you into reading more about CH and Security Plus, but you don't need to learn, you don't need to get the certificates, that's for sure, and you need to get into how the exam works and get so deep into that. As well in network protocols, you need to understand the network protocols, but you don't need to understand how Cisco routers work, how the routing stuff work, how port mirroring works, and all of this stuff. You just need to understand the protocols, the structure of these protocols, and how to use Wireshark to analyze different backups. That's all what you need to learn. And what I just wanted to say is that be very careful about your time, choose your resources wisely, and don't spread yourself too thin into so many resources that will get you even more lost and will make your learning curve way longer. That's it for today, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.